How's it going, guys? It's Kyle W Fantasy back with another mock draft. This is actually my first mock draft of the year, so just let me know what you guys think in the comments or what you're looking to see in new videos. But here's a couple settings that I am going to start with. So on this sleeper one, it's not too early to do mock drafts yet, but some of our roster settings that I have are we're going to do 1 QB, 2 RBs, 3 wide receivers, tight end, flex, kicker, defense, and 6 bench. The reason I do this is because this is what I typically play in. Half PPR, obviously snake, 12 teams. So we are going to randomize the draft order. And I'll let you guys know what I'm kind of thinking when I pick these draft picks. I'm going to try to go through every position or every draft position in here to get you guys a little bit more information. But let's randomize that and see what we get. So we are going to get the number 1 pick today. I will be pausing in between on this draft. So if you guys need to know why I'm pausing, it's because I'm going to be explaining who I'm drafting. But we are getting the first pick today. So with the first pick, I think you can kind of go any way here. You can go Chase, Barkley, Jefferson, Bijan. I think those are the 4 good ones. Particularly, I think I want to go running back because, with running back, you're going to get more. You can pick those wide receivers later. So the reason I don't really want Saquon this year is I just think with his carries that he got, this production might not carry over, which kind of makes me want to lean more Bijan. And the reason I want Bijan is because he does get that pass catching and he is a great running back. And they haven't really brought any competition to help him or combat what he's doing. So I think with the first pick, I think Bijan's a great pick for anyone. As you can see, some of these are going off after. I'll stop at the end of the first round and kind of go over what they did for the first round. Here is the first round. Like I said, Jamar Chase went off second. CeeDee Lamb went off third, which I think is another great pick in the top half of the first. He's going to get Dak back. He has George Pickens to help with him, take off a little bit of that coverage there. But overall, I think CeeDee's a great pick there. Then we have Gibbs go off. I could see Gibbs being there, but again, he was the running back 1 last year. And I think in the last 20 years, a running back 1 has never repeated as the running back 1, so that kind of gets me away from him. Now that's only because I think David Montgomery is going to come back. He's going to be healthy. He's going to take some of those carries away from Jahmyr Gibbs, and the reason Jahmyr Gibbs ended as the running back 1 is because Saquon and guys like that didn't play the last week. So you have to keep that in mind. After that, we have Justin Jefferson. That's a great pick. He's really just relying on J.J. McCarthy this year to give him the ball, which I think he'll do. And then we have Saquon, good pick there. Those guys can all go number 1, realistically, the top 6 guys. After that, it's a little bit of a fall off, guys who I wouldn't consider the number 1. So Amon-Ra, Nico Collins could end up as a wide receiver 1. I like Puka. Neighbors because he's going to get the volume. Thomas is going to get the volume. And then they went Bowers in the end of the first. That's still a good pick. You can get there. We should see Derrick Henry go off soon, as well as some other picks. But yeah, let's go into our next pick and see what we got. Derrick Henry, Drake London, A-Chain, McCaffrey went off the board. Genty. Let's see who's coming up here for this pick. So I think here's actually a great spot to take that wide receiver though you want. But also I'm seeing Josh Jacobs here. I'm kind of avoiding Terry McLaurin right now just until I hear all of his contract stuff. But I still think he's a good pick if he gets that contract figured out. But I think I'm going to take Josh Jacobs here and just get that other running back and not have to worry about it for right now. Because now I have Bijan and Josh Jacobs. You're not going to have to take another running back for a while, especially because I feel like there's a tier drop off here in the next round, especially when you're with the number 1 pick. You kind of have to take a swing on things because people aren't going to get back to you. But for my second pick, I don't know. Ladd McConkey's still a great. He got 112 targets last year. He should be seen more because they didn't really add too much competition except for Trey Harris. JSN kind of scares me, and the only reason he scares me is because they do have Cooper Kupp in the same role. But yeah, I think you can wait on quarterback here. If you like Jonathan Taylor, I could see you going Jonathan Taylor over Josh Jacobs, but I just prefer Josh Jacobs he doesn't really have competition. The Colts are a worse offense than the Packers. The Packers rank in the top 10 as a unit of offense, so I think that's a good pick there. But I think with my second pick, I'm going to have to go Ladd McConkey because I think I can get another wide receiver. He's a good wide receiver 1 for you. He's going to get you those points in half PPR. So JSN went off, Taylor, Jane Daniels, Kyron Williams, Mar. I think what we're going to have coming up here is we're going to probably have to target another wide receiver. Hopefully there's another good tier there of wide receivers. If Rashee Rice can somehow get to us, I feel like Rashee Rice went off 2 picks before us. That's not a bad thing, but it would have been nice to have. Overall, I think here, I honestly don't mind Metcalf, and the reason I say that is because there isn't much competition in Pittsburgh with the wide receiver room. Aaron Rodgers is going to get in the ball. People who are saying that Aaron Rodgers is not going to be able to throw the ball this year didn't really watch him last year. He was coming off an Achilles injury that really affected him for the first half of the season. And, I mean, Achilles injury is not easy to come back with. I mean, look at Kirk Cousins, for example. He got pretty much benched at the midway through the season. I think Aaron Rodgers had a fine season for what he was dealt with, especially the injury. So I think DK Metcalf is not a bad option here, considering I think he will get the targets. I mean, he's been getting targets the past couple of years. And if you watch Rodgers, he's going to get him the ball, especially the way that Devontae Adams finished that season last year. I think he's a great pick right in this spot. So I think I'm going to go DK Metcalf. And my next pick, I'm looking for another wide receiver. Now, this wide receiver group right here is interesting because there's a lot of good ones. I don't mind Sutton. I don't mind Devontae Smith. The reason I don't really like Zay Flowers would be because Lamar Jackson is he's going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball a lot. Do I see them getting Zay Flowers the ball that much? Probably not. I mean, he's only scored 4 touchdowns last year and 5 touchdowns the year before. I think Courtland Sutton's going to be your go guy. Again, 135 targets last year. They're going to get more consistent with Bo Nix this year. And if you look at their depth chart, I mean, there's not really any guys who are going to compete with Sutton. I mean, maybe Pat Bryant, one of their rookies, but any of these other guys really aren't going to take it away. Maybe Evan Ingram could take some targets, but I still think he's a good pick. I could also see Jalen Waddle if you're really liking and hoping that Tua plays. And the last 2 years have been kind of disappointing with him, so I wouldn't really take the risk. Chris Olave is not a big risk, too. So I think I'm going to take Sutton here. So with that, I got a pretty solid core as of now. I got those 2 running backs. I got my 3 wide receivers. I'm going to look tight end with this next pick. Depends who's there. Kittle's been off the board. Trey McBride's off the board. Bowers, Hawkinson, Laporta. So it really just depends who's there. But, I mean, there's plenty of good picks coming out, which I could wait on tight end too, because there's a guy down here named Tucker Kraft who I really enjoy, which I think we could get in the later rounds. Like right now, Jonnu Smith I'm not liking. Kelsey's an interesting one. If you think he's gonna bounce back after what he still ended up as the tight end 5 in PPR last year, and he's obviously been consistent all over his career, but I don't know. That's a risk I don't really want to take. Honestly, right now, Chris Godwin would not be a bad pick. I feel like Judkins as well. I think Judkins could have a good role with the Cleveland Browns. Other than that, I don't really see anyone that I'm really particularly liking. So I think with my first pick, I'm going to go Chris Godwin. And then actually, I'm going to go TreVeyon Henderson. And the reason I go that way, because he's going to be the number 1 running back in New England. I mean, so is Quinshon Judkins. But I think the skill set that TreVeyon Henderson has, especially as a blocker, he's going to get on the field a lot more than Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, Antonio Gibson, those guys aren't going to play over TreVeyon Henderson. At least in the beginning of the season they might, but at the end of the season, I think TreVeyon Henderson will be that guy for you. So, honestly, I think there's just like so many good people right here. You see Kelsey go off the board, Jonnu goes off the board, Mark Andrews, Bo Nix. I would be looking quarterback here too, which I would not be opposed to. But I'm seeing a guy that I really like too, and his name is Travis Etienne. And the reason I like Travis Etienne this year is because you can look at him and see that he's really good. He just didn't get the opportunities last year in the offense that he was given. I mean, he was really put into a place where, okay, they don't have a good O-line. They don't have a really good offense. Trevor Lawrence was bad. And now they just added Liam Cohen and a lot more offensive pieces. So the offense is going to run better. So I think Travis Etienne is going to be a good pick as well. And like I said, I took those running backs early, but I still think a running back, especially last year with one of my strategies, is I took running backs and they performed well. You could put them into your flex. They're going to score touchdowns. And what you want in fantasy football, in my opinion, is those touchdowns. So I'm going to take that. I'm done with running backs now. And honestly, I'm going to look quarterback. And the reason I want to go quarterback is because there's a lot of good quarterbacks actually left. You have the Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Caleb Williams, C.J. Stroud, Dak Prescott, Drake May, even Fields. Like, I feel like that's a good tier of quarterbacks. I wouldn't put them all in the same tier, but I would put them as a tier as a quarterback in this round. And honestly, I think I'm going to go Jordan Love. And Jordan Love really intrigues me this year because he has been doing well in training camp. I think he was just a player who suffered from injury. He got injured in the first game against Philly, and that kind of lingered throughout the day or throughout the season. So I think he's going to have a bounce back season. I honestly think he might be in an MVP talks this year because he does have the arm talent. He does have the wide receiver. They just drafted Matthew Golden in the first round, and he has a great offense. And when you draft Jordan Love, you're going to have, in this lineup specifically, I do have Josh Jacobs, so he's going to be able to get Josh Jacobs the ball. He's going to pass on the ball, so I think that's just a good stack right there. Not as good as a quarterback wide receiver stack, but you're going to get that quarterback running backs where he's going to catch the ball. Last year, Josh Jacobs had 36 receptions, which isn't bad, and that's considering that Jordan Love was hurt most of the year. He had a groin injury. He hurt his MCL. So I think he's a great pick there. Jalen Warren, Stevenson, Ingram, Caleb Johnson, Matthew Golden. Like I said, with the Packers. Now that I have two Packers, I don't think I'm going to lean Tucker Kraft. So I think I'm going to go see. He just went off the board anyways, so never mind. But let's see what we got here. All right, so now we're back at our pick. And see what we got here. So for tight ends, Ferguson, Goddard, Kyle Pitts. See, this is weird, and maybe I put myself in a spot where I should have drafted that tight end a little bit earlier, but I think I'm going to be fine. I think Jake Ferguson could have a great year as well. Like I said, gets Dak back. Freiermuth wasn't a bad option last year. He ended up as the tight end 9. Colson Loveland is an interesting one. I wouldn't really take the risk with him. And the risk that I think he has is that, you know, there's a lot of mouths to feed, and they have Cole Kmet. So where is he going to fit into this offense to get the ball enough to be a good fantasy producer? Maybe that's down the line, but I don't think that's going to produce early in the year. And we're kind of stuck in a position where we need a tight end now. So I think a good pick here, honestly, is going to be Jake Ferguson. He's probably going to bounce back. Last year was just kind of rough in Dallas. The year before, he had 102 targets and 5 touchdowns, which that should increase this year. Goddard's not a bad pick. He's always injured, so it's kind of hard to draft him. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go Jake Ferguson. And if I need to trade eventually one of my wide receivers, then I'll do that. My second pick, it's kind of interesting. Let's see. So I don't mind Emeka Egbuka, but I already drafted Chris Godwin, so that's probably just not going to happen. Juwan Jennings is interesting. Burden, Jaden Higgins. Honestly, I'm liking Jaden Higgins here, and the reason I say that is because outside of Nico Collins, there really isn't. Tank Dell is probably not going to come back right away, at least. But it's hard. There's so many people like in the same team around this area, which I wouldn't even mind. Kyle Williams. This is a hard spot for me to draft. But this is where you win your league, is right here. I think we're going to go. Let's go with Buka. That's a good. He's going to get the targets. I know he took Chris Godwin, but Chris Godwin could get hurt again. You never know. He could be in a different position, but regardless, that's a rookie. You're going to want those rookie wide receivers. Okay, so we're gonna get back to our pick here soon. Jaden Reed went in the 8th. Okay. So here we're kind of in a situation where I think we just build up that you build up that bench with those rookie wide receivers that you don't need to play right away. They could be a good flex option if they end up being the number one option in that offense. So I'm honestly thinking that Kyle Williams could be a great pick here, which I'm actually going to take him. And then with my next pick, I'm going to go with, let's go Jack Beck. So now we have those 3 rookie wide receivers on our bench where one of them's probably going to turn out the way that we want them to be as a player. We just have to wait on that. Now we're getting to the final rounds. Here is kind of just taking your kicker and, your defense. And honestly, with my kickers and defense, the strategy that I kind of use is just pick up a new one every week, because I don't think that they're really they're important and they're going to win you weeks. But if you just, stream a kicker and defense every week, find that kicker. Like last year I found Jake Bates. He really wasn't, I don't think he was getting drafted very high. Got him and he was very good in the fantasy playoffs. Actually helped me win a championship. And defenses are the same way. You're going to go against matchups, especially in the end of the year. You're going to pick up a defense that's going to help you win based on okay, this guy's quarterback is hurt and they're on their 3rd string quarterback. I'm going to pick up that defense and I'm going to dominate with them, which is common sense, but some people really don't get that. But let's get on to this pick. Right here, I think I'm good on wide receivers. I mean, I don't think there's any tight ends that I really like. I could pick one up in the season. Dylan Sampson's not a bad pick. But I think I'm going to just go D-Hop here. Get those guys with, that experience. And roll with it. I mean, there's not really anyone else I enjoy here. Guys I can pick up later in the year. So I think I'm gonna go D-Hop, and then let's just go kicker. Honestly, Jake Bates, he helped me last year. Let's go Jake Bates. All right. So we're just finishing up on the draft, but I think we overall have a solid draft. We could have gotten a tight end a little bit earlier, which is my own fault. Like I said, I thought I'd get Tucker Kraft. But at the point where I was drafting to get Tucker Kraft, I didn't get him because there's better positional values. But for the last pick, just go defense. Let's go Vikings, I guess. Okay, so overall draft recap. Let's look at our roster. Okay, so we have Jordan Love as quarterback. Like I said, I think he's going to have a bounce back year. Bijan, he's a good first overall pick. Josh Jacobs was a great running back. Could be the running back 1 this year. If he's going to get that volume that he got last year and their offense is more healthy than it was last year, I think he actually has a chance to be the running back 1 or at least the top 3 running back in the league. Ladd McConkey had a great rookie year. I think he's going to still get those targets this year. And then you have DK. He's going to get targets from Rodgers, who's a better quarterback upgrade. I mean, maybe not than Geno Smith, but the Steelers in previous years had terrible quarterbacks and just can't throw the ball. But now they're going to be able to throw the ball. I think that Pittsburgh offense actually will go around DK and the run game. Courtland Sutton, great touchdown guy. Not really much risk with him, especially with Bo Nix being very, very good. I think Bo Nix will help him out a lot. And then you have Jake Ferguson. There's better tight ends, but I think he's fine. He's going to get you your points. Godwin, coming off that injury, but I still think he's a very big impact in that Tampa Bay offense. They're going to get him the ball. He was actually the wide receiver 1 until he got hurt last year. And then we have Jake Bates, Vikings D. Henderson, you have those rookies. I think with my bench, I like to target those rookies because they're not going to play right away. They might play if they're going to get into a good position, but I don't need them right away. Travis Etienne, Emeka Egbuka, Kyle Williams, Jack Beck, and D-Hop. That is going to round out my roster. Overall, you guys can grade this for yourselves. Just tell me what grade you think I got for this draft. This is also my first one. I'm not the biggest fan of the first pick, and the reason I say that is because it's so hard, and you have to wait a long time to get back to your pick, so you have to reach at some players if you really like that player. Again, rankings aren't everything. Last year I went with just, okay, I really like this player, I'm going to draft him, and I don't care where he's actually ranked at, and that worked out well for me, because if you like a player and you think he's going to perform, draft him at the position. But anyways, leave that grade in the comments. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure that you subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.